has expired. Dr. Foxx, you recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, what Mr. DeFriend was saying leads right into a comment I was going to make. When I first got on this committee in 2005, we tackled issues related to the PBGC. Then Chairman Boehner said he wondered why nobody had tackled the PBGC and pension issues for 30 years. And when we got into it, we found out why. It's hard. It's very hard. And I think that's what we're seeing here again today. I'd like to ask you, Mr. DeFriend, a question. You touched on this issue before, but I'd like you to expand on your comments related to critics saying that, who've raised questions about whether the proposal weakens current funding standards for legacy multi-employer defined benefit pension plans. And would you talk a little bit more about how the discussion draft addresses these concerns to ensure existing plans are sufficiently funded? And I know we have 4 minutes, but I'd like you not to take up the whole 4 minutes, so I can ask one more question.
Certainly. I think the short answer is that the discussion draft, it eliminates some of the discretion in terms of how the allocation of the contributions are handled. It puts in a minimum that is higher through the transition minimum contribution and the current PPA levels, so that the dollars flowing through will adequately fund the legacy plan, even if you take the 30-year extension, or the 25-year extension for the fresh start. We have, as I started to mention earlier, we have done some stress testing on that, and we have some results that I'd like to have entered into the record so you can see how that works.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Chairman, I'd ask whatever he has to be entered in the record be entered into the record without objection.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. Mr. Green, my husband and I have been in construction business off and on all of our lives, and so I thank you very much for coming here and explaining to people what very small margins most people earn by being in the business. I think some of our colleagues, sometimes on the other side of the aisle, think that folks in private business are out there making lots and lots of money and not being very fair to the people who they employ. And I know most people in private industry try very hard to make whatever they can to stay in business and also treat their employees very, very fairly. We've consistently heard over the years about the effect of withdrawal liability and how it actually provides a disincentive for employers to contribute to defined benefit plans. And it's clear we need more employers in the system if we want to provide a more stable system. Can you explain how withdrawal liability impacted your business and why it's so important that employers and workers have an option for a new type of plan?
Yes, ma'am. Most construction companies are held by as small companies. So my wife and I personally had to guarantee all of our loans with the banks, and so it's a personal business, and it's personal with the employees. And when you have if you were required to show the liability on your financial statements, the banks and sureties would not want to work with you. As an example, it takes about $40,000 or $50,000 per employee in working capital just to stay in business. And it challenges when you have a business, and if you want to sell the business, prospective buyers are very concerned about what liabilities are hidden on the balance sheet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I will yield back.
Gentlelady, for yielding.